Welcome back to Unique Oklahoma. All of you who are members, you Uniokers, I'm glad that you're joining or choosing to watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. My goal is to keep it under 10 minutes, so let's jump right in. As you saw on the title slide, this is about the six bridges of the six bridges in Indian Territory. Now, before we go to the bridges, let's start with a couple of men. This first man is named Squire Whipple. He was born in 1804 in Massachusetts and lived in New England, New York area all of his life. And he became a civil engineer who is known for the Whipple Arched Truss Bridge, a suspension bridge that used iron and compressed iron elements. And you can see the diagram there of it, as well as an example in the painting that is in the window of his house in the painting. So remember Squire Whipple, and specifically remember the Whipple Arched Truss Bridge. Now let me introduce you to E.F. Beale, Edwin Fitzgerald Beale. He was a military man who was of some stature in the 19th century, a Navy man, an explorer, a frontiersman, a friend of Ulysses S. Grant and other famous personalities in the 19th century, Kit Carson and Buffalo Bill Cody, to name a few. And in 1857, Mr. Beale was asked to, by President Buchanan, to survey land from Arizona to the Colorado River in order to construct a wagon road, a new advanced wagon road. And he did that. And as we look at the map here, he eventually broadened the Beale wagon road from Albuquerque to the Colorado River. But then in 1858 and in 1859, he surveyed land from Fort Smith, Arkansas to Albuquerque. So to lengthen the Beale wagon road. And in 1861, the Beale wagon road was completed and ready for travel. It was a straight shot. It was designed to go along the 35th latitude parallel and eventually be a straight shot from Fort Smith to Los Angeles, the Beale Wagon Road. Now, in 1859, as they were constructing the road in Indian Territory, Mr. Beale obtained the services of an iron and steel company in Philadelphia to build 6 bridges. Can you guess what kind of bridges? That's right, the Whipple Arched Truss Bridges. And that company did just that. They built 6 bridges that were put at these 6 locations in Indian Territory. Across the Poteau River, 7 miles southwest of Fort Smith. At that time, Indian Territory, but now the very far eastern border of Oklahoma. Then the next bridge west of Spiro, the next one southeast of Keota, the 4th one southwest of Keota, south of Kerr Lake, crossing the Samboy Creek, the 5th one west of Whitefield, and the 6th one, which we want to focus on for a little bit here, south of Holdenville, Oklahoma, across the Little River. Now, none of these bridges are still there. They were all destroyed in the Civil War. I think there may be some remnants of some of the iron in some of the river beds or creek beds in some of them. But the best remains of any of the bridges is at the Little River Bridge crossing. These bridges were suspension bridges, and so they rested on two abutments or two bases. And these bases were built out of, they were mason work built out of stones. And those two bases remain at this location. Now, there was an iron bridge rebuilt here in 1909. That bridge is still there. I'll show you a picture here in a moment. But first of all, let me show you what the Whipple bridges look like, because the new the bridge that was built in 1909 does not look like the ones that were built in the 1850s and 1860s. But this is a Whipple Truss Arch Bridge that is in Albany, New York, still there today, although they do not allow traffic to go over it. But this bridge was built in 1868. And it was still in use all the way up until 1990. And most of the people thought it was a fairly modern bridge. But this is what the 6 bridges in Indian Territory would have looked like. This is the bridge that is there now. The iron aspects, the iron part of it again was built in 1909, but these two bases or these two abutments are the 1859 originals. Now that is where I wanted to come to you from tonight, but I don't yet have permission from the owner. I have found the owner and I have the phone number, but they have not returned my call. So hopefully in the fall, I'll be able to come to you from there. But we live in an age of geotechnology, right? We have GPS. So we're going to zoom in via a Google map and see exactly where it is and actually see it, see the picture of it. So before we turn to satellite, here is the map. Now the Google map shows you the Beale Iron Bridge. The Apple version does not show this on their map. These maps, you know, of course, show you historical locations. This is included on the Google map, Beale Iron Bridge number 6. So just to give you perspective, here's Ada, here's McAllister, here's Holdenville, here's Atwood. So let's zoom in. And the bridge now spans what I think was an old branch of the Little River. It's no longer connected. But as we turn to satellite, we're going to zoom in as far as we can, and we can see it there. Now, I checked the Apple map to make sure it was on there because, you know, you don't know if this map might be outdated and the owner of the property who doesn't, this is the newest owner, he doesn't like to allow people on. He has made it private property. It used to be open to where people could go and see it. So you never know if he dismantled it or not. So I checked the Apple map, and it's also on that map, and it definitely was taken during a different season. This obviously looks like maybe the fall time. But the Apple map looked like maybe summer or late spring. But anyway, that is the Beale Iron Bridge number 6. And again, what makes this bridge and the other 5 unique was after, I don't know if I mentioned that the Whipple Arch Bridge was the only bridge that was used to cross over the Erie Canal in the 19th century. All of the crossings over the Erie Canal, or the majority of the crossings, were those Whipple Arch Truss bridges. In 1861, when the 6 bridges were built and completed in Indian Territory, that was the second largest concentration of those Whipple bridges in the United States. So that's the unique aspect of Oklahoma that I'm sharing with you tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And if I ever do get permission, I'll let you know. And if you would like to meet me there and go see it together, that would be a great day trip. So have a great weekend. See you Monday on the next mini video. Thanks again for watching and being a part of Unique Oklahoma. Bye-bye.